The Pittsburgh Steelers have a not great situation on their hands, but by no means terrible, easily fixable, and they've weighed in on it and taken some steps towards resolving it. What's going on, everybody? I'm Noah Strackmine. Thank you for jumping on to Steelers to Go, your daily to-go cup of Pittsburgh Steelers news and analysis. Find us on youtube.com/all Steelers talkers. Subscribe anywhere you get your podcast. The Pittsburgh Steelers, yeah, they had some drama pop up over the weekend. Regardless of a win, wide receiver George Pickens appeared frustrated during the game, even after the Pittsburgh Steelers won. He was nowhere to be found in the locker room afterwards. During the weekend, posted some we'll call it shady things on social media, deleted all of his stuff associated with the Pittsburgh Steelers, slowly added it on, and then said, hey, this had nothing to do with the Pittsburgh Steelers. It was pretty clear, and Mike Tomlin even addressed it during his weekly press conference, that there was something brewing with George Pickens, and I don't think it regarded, we're ready to leave, actually free me, get me out of the Pittsburgh Steelers. I think it was just frustration. It was a young player who didn't get the ball as much as he wanted, didn't have the results that he wanted, and he let out a little bit of steam, and probably the wrong way. George Pickens and two of his teammates addressed the situation. It was two different sides, and we'll get into why that isn't such a big deal, even though it is something that the Pittsburgh Steelers do have to handle sooner rather than later. And everybody immediately wants to jump and say, hey, this is another Antonio Brown situation. This is going to get really bad. I understand. You know, the Pittsburgh Steelers and Pittsburgh Steelers fans, they've been through the ringer when it comes to diva wide receivers, and they don't want to deal with that again. I don't blame them. But there are reasons to believe that this isn't the case. Let's get back to what we're talking about, though. We'll start with George Pickens. This is what he had to say about the situation when he spoke to the media yesterday.
All right, questions for George?
George, when you look at just this way that the games have gone the last couple weeks, you haven't had as many catches as the weeks prior. Just how do you kind of maybe get more involved in the game plan, and how do you express that to coaches, Kenny, things like that?
Me personally, all I can keep doing is just keep working, to be honest. I can't really express it anymore, but I can just keep working, that's it.
George, are you upset?
Oh, no.
George, you responded to some of the social media stuff by saying basically you people need help. Like, do you, are you upset? What do you mean by the social media reaction?
I don't really mix social media and football together, so.
You did kind of hide all the Steelers stuff from your profile. Just what was behind doing that and then restoring it?
Just clearing out my page. See what I mean? Not really too crazy. It got nothing to do with the Steelers at all.
George, what can you do better, maybe to handle frustration or deal with that side of it?
Like I said, all I can do is just keep working. Me personally.
Were you frustrated after the game Thursday night?
No, we got the victory. Tay got a touchdown. We just engineered the victory. That's all. I was happy, if anything.
While George said that he wasn't frustrated and that there were no issues, Mike Tomlin said that there were. Two of his teammates also said that there were, and that they spoke to them. Najee Harris and Deontay Johnson both talked immediately after George Pickens and confirmed, yeah, George has been frustrated, and it was addressed by both of them simply to George.
Yeah, like this is going to be a part of the NFL. I mean, you know, I talked to him at halftime. Whenever you're a key player in the offense, they're not just going to let you blow up the stat sheet. You know, that's what I think that people fail to realize. You know, I mean, they're not going to let you be game worker. That's what we call it. So they're going to find ways to minimize that player. And when you find ways to minimize that player, it creates somebody else's opportunity to eat. That's the part of the team. So, you know, I was telling GP that it's okay. There's nothing wrong with being frustrated. It's just how you handle things when you're frustrated. You know, obviously he's a talented guy. We're going to do all type of things to minimize him. But I was just telling him in the middle of the game too that you got to keep your composure, man. Just know that you're gonna have an opportunity, and you have an opportunity to make the play. So, you know, GP's a talented guy. Like I said, I talked to him before half. I talked to him at halftime. And I was just telling him just to be focused and stuff.
Did you talk with him at all in the last couple of days? I know that there was some stuff on social media, things like that.
Today, I was just the same stuff. I'm like, it's okay to be frustrated. Just you're young. You just gotta handle it in a better way, and you'll be good, bro. Ain't nothing to make a big deal off of. This is part of the sport, and there's gonna be ups and downs. But as a team, we just gotta rally everybody up and get back to the main goal, and that's winning the games.
Keep playing. You know what I'm saying? Don't think about that play that just happened. Just keep playing. The ball gonna find your quarterback. Continue to throw the ball. As long as you continue to have the right body language at all times. Because at the same time, you gotta know that people's watching. You know what I'm saying? Little kids. It don't matter who it is. Like you're a professional. You gotta act like a professional. So that's what I stand on. So just keep playing.
Have you or anybody else talked to George about that?
Yeah, I talked to George. I had a good talk with him. He understood. I understood where he was coming from as well. So, nobody's perfect. So you can't knock him at the same time. But he's human, so I didn't think too much of the situation. I know what it was from. Frustration from the game. So him doing what he did, yeah, it's a better way to go about certain situations, but he felt like he had to handle his way, but at the same time, it wasn't the right time to do all that. But I had a good talk with him, so he understands, and he gonna be moving forward from it. He know how to handle himself, and so he get in that situation.
At what point did you reach out to him? Was it Friday when there were the social media posts, or after the game? Just
really when I seen him too. I didn't want to overstep and just try to see what's up with him. Cause what was going through his head or whatever, but I just kind of gave him his space until we came here on Monday. I chopped it up with him. Just kind of told him what he should do next time, or just to not put that stuff out there. You don't want people making you creating a narrative. You know what I'm saying? So he understands.
Now, there will be some people who say, well, George Pickens lied. This is ridiculous. This is the second time he's done this, and it is the second time that he has blatantly tried to get out of a situation by making a claim that just didn't make any sense. The first one was when he liked, or it was speculated or reported that he liked a comment on Instagram that was somewhat attacking Kenny Pickett, saying that the Pittsburgh Steelers need to get George Pickens somebody to throw him the football. He said, oh, you can't even comment on my Instagram. You could comment on his Instagram. It's very easy, and chances are he did like that post, and he was frustrated at the time. This time, clear as day, he was not happy. Everything points to, including his teammates and his head coach, saying that he was frustrated and that he is not happy and that he's working on it. But that's the biggest thing here. People have a hard time remembering that George Pickens is just 22 years old. By the time Antonio Brown started going off and everything really came to shambles, he was nearing 30. It was a totally different situation. He was a grown adult who fully understood what he was doing and fully understood what was coming with what he was doing and what he was trying to make happen and what he was trying to get away with as an NFL veteran. George Pickens, on the other hand, is 22 years old, has never been in a situation where he isn't the star of a football team, and hasn't been in a situation where teams are directly scouting to take him away, and it's working. That's the biggest jump from the NFL to the NCAA. In NCAA, in college football, you could try to take somebody away, but if they're good enough, chances are they're still going to have one hell of a game. In the NFL, these are all NFL players. If they want to take somebody away and they do it correctly, it's going to work. And it's going to work every single time. And George Pickens has to work on ways to make it not work and to work around those things. And Deontay Johnson's success alone and the running game's success alone is going to do their part in taking away attention for George Pickens. But it's a waiting game. It's an adjustment. And that's something that the Pittsburgh Steelers are working with their young wide receiver to fix and understand better. And I think it comes down to one very important thing. If the Pittsburgh Steelers ignore this and look at it as, this is no big deal, this is whatever, we will move on and everything will be fine, without trying to teach George Pickens some sort of lesson, not scold him, not make this a big public thing, but just simply sit him down and help him understand that this is part of the NFL, and if he's going to be great, he has to deal with these moments. If they could do that now, everything will be fine. If they don't do that now, we're looking at a situation that could get worse and worse as the years go on. And there's some belief that George Pickens isn't going to calm down anytime soon and that these outlashes aren't going to stop anytime soon. I think that they have an opportunity to if the Pittsburgh Steelers handle this correctly. And all that means is address a 22-year-old like a 22-year-old, somebody who is still a kid, somebody who is very much so developing, somebody who is very much so trying to understand the new world that he has been put into. If you do that correctly, which Mike Tomlin tends to do those things correctly, and having Najee Harris and having Deontay Johnson and having guys like TJ Watt and Cam Hayward and all the veterans on the offensive line and Allen Robinson, that'll all help. He has the pieces around him to make this a non-issue. It's just very important that the Pittsburgh Steelers make sure that it becomes a non-issue and that he gets a real understanding that he cannot continue to find himself sitting in front of the media and having to lie and find ways out of it that don't necessarily make sense. If they do it all correctly, everything will be fine.